Good afternoon. On behalf of my family, I want to thank you all for being here. I know there's a lot of people that would have liked to be in here, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, it couldn't be, like my father and mother-in-law, like I'm sure Uncle Lindsay and Belfield, and many others. But their prayers and the condolences have carried us through this time, and I'm very appreciative. I've been to a lot of services, but I don't know too many people that have two eulogies in remembrance as well. So my father had a lot of impact on people, and it's very gratifying to see so many people here today and to hear the words that my sister said and that Monica said as well. I want to let you know that my father would be so happy right now. He loved St. Stephen's. He loved his church family. And he'd be honored, and I'm very thankful that we're able to have this service here today. And three of his favorite people were Father Steve Fields and Father Canute and Father Hunt. So I thank you for making this possible for him as well. You all have heard so much, and it's been fantastic. You have the obituary, so you can have the time to take a look at that. But I just wanted to very shortly share a few recollections with you so that you would know a little bit more about my father. But the one thing you've got already, that he loved hard, he loved passionately, he was not afraid to tell you that he loved you, and that was something that I think characterized the way he was. But to start off, I can't start off without mentioning my mother. My father, the Lord guide me to, when something like this happens, you start looking for notes and pictures and stuff, and I found this letter written in 1956 that my father wrote to his future father-in-law to state his intentions to mother, and he was apologizing, saying, I know I should have done this earlier, and I know I hear some talk that what my intentions is to your daughter, so I know the proper procedure is to write to you to tell you. And he goes on to say, what did he say here? And remember, this is 56, so he got married in 59, and they moved to Canada at 59. So he says, I apologize for the delay in stating my intentions towards your daughter, but I want to let you know, and this is the quote, that I love Daphne and care for her very much. And I guess in an attempt to win his future father-in-law over, he said, you've raised a very nice and well-mannered daughter. And I want to make it clear to you that as things continue, I intend to make her my wife, and I would appreciate your approval for marriage. And there's 62 years later, that's what happened. And so everything started with my mother and father. I couldn't mention my dad without mentioning my mother because they were world-class parents, world-class parents. Again, I said love was important. He loved my sister and I. When you told the story about the adoption agency, he used to tell me I took a quick look around because I was looking for the door. Because if I heard there was going to be any foolishness, I was out of there. They would have to catch you, right? That was Dad, right? He loved your daughter, could do no wrong. When she was younger, I think Ann and I met Donna at age 16. Ann, you met Donna? 15. So Ann and I started going out when she was 19. And Donna would hang out with her friends, and back then there was no cell phone. Donna would always come home a little bit later than she should have. And I would say, Donna, why don't you just call? But she would be with her friends and stuff. So my parents would, and I usually be at home, so my parents would be upset. And I said, no, she's all right. So they would say, my mother said, when she gets home, she is going to be punished. She's not going out for a month. Lo and behold, Daddy would come home and say, yeah, that's right, that's what's going to happen. Literally, the next day, Donna would be out. Punishment was finished. Donna could do no wrong. And even when Daddy was getting weak, and I would call him on video call, because Donna's in Oakville, so she would always come, but it was hard sometimes. He was a one person. He would always gather his strength to try to open up his eyes and talk to her and ask her how she's doing. So she loved Donna, and for myself, I have no doubt. It's easy for me to say I could love because I don't think a day went by that Dad didn't tell me how much he loved me. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I know that that love, as I said, just didn't extend to my sister and I. He loved his grandchildren, right? And let's first tell you about Anne. When I met Antoinette at 19, and When he knew I was serious, Anne became like his daughter as well. Anne lived on campus, or off campus in an apartment at York University. And the fire alarm used to go off, it seemed every couple of days. At nighttime, it'd be 12, 1 o'clock. Anne would call. In those days, there was no cell phone, so it'd be the house phone. She'd be calling Dad, or there's a fire or something. There's no fire. But Dad would wake me up, make me climb the 18 stairs to go and bring Antoinette to the house. So he loved her like a daughter, and he always cared about her as well. He loved his grandchildren, Cameron, Kyla, and Jasmine. He would call Cam his main man, Kyla, sweetie, Jasmine, big girl. He could not get over how big Jasmine was getting, right? He loved her and loved his grandkids so much. And I know one of his wishes that he could have been more active in his later years, because he would have loved to spend more time with you, Jasmine, and he loved being with Cameron and Kyla as well. So you know your grandfather loved you very much. The sisters, my father, I remember him saying that, I think Mama used to say, there's a lot of you, so you don't really have to rely on anybody else, right? And you should be together. And Dad loved his sisters. He loved his brothers. And the thing that made him happiest as the years went on was to have a video call or hear your guy's voice or talk to him. So he loved you as much as he loved him. And I can tell you he loved you without unequivocally every one of you. He loved his nieces and nephews. Many of you would have stories about him and know that he tried to be a dad and tried to be everything. And he loved you all, and I hope you all have memories, and I know you do, of him as love. Donna talked about how he loved to entertain. Obviously, he loved his music. And I found a letter the other day. Dad kept everything. Mom kept everything. But I found a letter. It's November 29th, 1966. And this shows us how much he loved the community, but also his love of music. It's from the City of Toronto Citizens Centenary Committee. And it says, Dear Ms. Bolden, the West Indian community in Toronto has been invited by the Toronto Centennial Committee to take part in the celebration in 1967 at Canada's centennial year. We've been asked as other cultural groups to participate and show our songs and dance. Then it goes on to say, with more than 10,000 people from the Caribbean living in Toronto, which is surprising to many of us. Some of us are housewives, teachers, nurses, artists, office workers, skills craftsmen, businessmen, union workers, and professionals. And there's no question that we've made our contribution. Then it goes on to say that there is going to be a celebration, and then it talks about the first caravana and asking him to take part. And Dad took part. He was part of the first caravana. He was part of giving money to it. So he just loved the community. He loved his music. He loved being part of anything that brought people together. Again, just talk about his love. He loved his business. Dad worked for the same company. He started in 1961. He went from a mine and working in Inco. He always said that he didn't want to see me work in the mine, so that's one of the reasons he came to Toronto. He started his own business when he was after 28 years of working with another company. And he built it up on his own, and he has many great clients, and he was very proud of what he did. And I'm proud because it shows you can take little and make much, and that was my father in terms of what he did. And of course, as I said before, he loved his church family. He really loved his church family. He would listen to every service, and when he was bedridden, the service would be on, and sometimes I'd go in to say, Dad, it's time to take your medicine, and he wouldn't talk to me, right? And I said, Dad, I'm talking to you. He says, I'm in service. He's watching that TV. So it wasn't polite to talk during service, so he's not talking to me when the service is on. But one of his greatest goals in his later life was to hopefully get better, to come back and be with you all. And although he was not able to do that, he loved the fact that you were part of his life, and this is where he worshiped. This was his church home. So as I said, many of us have said there's so many fond memories that we have of Dad, but in closing, I just want to let you know that although I miss him greatly, I have so many good memories of my father, and we all do. And I know that the greatest thing I can do, and my sister and all of us who loved him, was to be as loving as he was, and also have the faith that he had. So he had a rock-hard faith, and he had a strong love. And I know that as long as we can go out, and it's easy to say that we love each other, but we just don't say it, we act it, we be reflecting what Dad wanted for us. So again, thank you all for coming. I'm very appreciative of the love that you showed today.